Well, I'll do like a little intro, and then.
So it wasn't the EP.
We were just conversation.
We're just being friendly, yeah.
Yeah, they went for it to go, I think.
Okay, cool. Right, so I'm here with Mr. Kevin Devine.
Mr. Very
English,
official.
So we have to be polite.
No, I'll take it.
So you're in the middle of this big European tour.
And towards the end, yeah.
Oh, towards the end.
6
cool.
more shows out of, I think, it's 22 or something, so we're almost there.
And how's it been?
It's been really nice. It's been, the way I measure a successful tour is so much different now than it was when I was a little younger. Now it's more about, like, if I feel, like, sane this far into it, and not, like, because you get tired, it's a great thing, but it's also a lot of travel, and we're not, like, touring in a bus or in private jets or anything, so there's an aspect of it that's kind of physically draining and uncomfortable, but no, the shows have been great, the crowds have been great, the travel's been easy. So I really can't complain. So far, it's been really good.
But it is a long tour, and I guess this is your 6th album now, so it's and you've been touring. I mean, you tour pretty relentlessly every year.
I tour a lot, yeah.
So I mean, you must get to the point where it is kind of like you're looking at the end.
Yeah, there are moments where I definitely. Well, for us, this is the beginning of a much longer tour. It's like a 3-month thing, because we go back and do 2 months in the States too. So I'm sort of looking at it in terms of how it's broken up. Like, it's the end of this.
Yeah.
Then we have a long road ahead of that. So I'm just trying to keep it. It sounds so sort of cliche, but I try to keep it in each day, like one day at a time.
Is it difficult now to choose, as we were talking about earlier, choosing a set? Because I mean, you must have 60, 70 songs to choose.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Crowd to please, is it?
Well, I think you get let go of the fact that even headlining, if I did a 90-minute set, which is ample, we do between 90 and 2 hours. If I did a 90-minute set, which is maybe 20 songs or something, you're still gonna leave out 50.
Yeah.
So, and with the band, it's obviously a different thing than when I'm by myself. We kind of tend to emphasize some of the rockier stuff when we have a full band.
Yeah.
So, this tour, for example, we do stuff from every record except Circle Gets the Square, the very first record, but we do stuff from every record since Make the Clocks Move. 2 and 3 songs usually. We probably do about 5 or 6 from the new one a night. So it's a pretty even split, but I think you have to let go of the idea. There's always gonna be somebody who's gonna not hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's almost a nice problem to have. It means that they like you, you know what I mean? But hopefully they'll hear something else that they didn't know they wanted to hear and realize they did when you played it.
And you've got, the album's been out for a while now, since last September.
Yeah, September in the States. I think it came out here closer to November or December or something, but yeah.
So have you had a time now to sort of sit back and reflect from the album and think, this is, compared to your other albums, this has been a good Kevin Devine album that's been received well?
Well, I mean, I feel like a friend of mine said that it was the record that 10 years from now, that's the record of mine he'll pick out to listen to. And I think for me, records are funny. I think some people, it seemed like it was like half and half. Like half the people that seem to respond to it on the internet or at shows and stuff are like, it's my favorite record you've ever made. And then half the people that are like, oh, I wish it was more like this, or I wish this was more like that. But I think if you have 6 records and each of them has its camp around it of people who are like, that's the best one, then you're doing something right. Because you don't want to make a record the same way 6 times. I wouldn't want to be making the same music at 32 that I was at 19, or even at 25 or 28. You want to change. So how I feel about it right now is I think it's the most consistent record I've ever made. I think it's the most of a piece. I really like the songs. I love the way it sounds. And I think that right now it's my favorite, but everyone we make, when I make it, it's the favorite because it's where you are.
Yeah, it should be as well, shouldn't it? Otherwise you're not doing it right.
I think it should be for me. I understand if it's not that way for people who like it, the fans, but I have to feel that way. If I don't feel that way, then yeah, why would you put it out? You know, if you make one and you're like, well, this is kind of garbage, you know, then I think you should sit on that one.
Yeah. But I mean, because you said you recorded it, you wrote it and recorded it differently, didn't you, to previous records? And it's certainly the most fluid record you've put out, as you know, as a sort of as a beginning to an end all the way through.
That's good. That's how I feel.
Yeah. And is that was the fluidity a byproduct of the new recording process, or was it something you said before you went in that you were like, I want to make it sort of people to listen to it all the way through and not put it on random?
The only conscious thing like that I had about it was that I wanted it to be I knew I wanted it to be 10 songs, and I knew I wanted it to be under 40 minutes. I wanted it to be like those first two Strokes records, or like the Ramones, or not that the music sounds like that, but that that there's a certain to it, and when it's over, you're kind of surprised it's over. You want to start it over again because it passes pretty quick. Because Brother's Blood, which I love that record, and it's very close to my heart, but it was like 11 songs, like 55 minutes or something. It's a workout. I wanted to keep the sort of musicality and the thematic depth of what I tend to write, but I wanted to make them like my weird version of pop songs or something. And so that was the only thing. It wasn't like this record's going to be like this, it's going to be about this, it's going to flow like this. It was just like I knew I wanted it to be concise and tight. And and then we kind of figured out ways with the sequencing to make it like kind of just keep moving. There's not really a lot of pauses between songs. It's just kind of like as soon as one's over, the next one comes in.
And they bleed in. That makes it sort of the beginning of the next song, and sort of starts towards the end of the previous one.
Yeah, we have a few of those where there's not. They work like that, so you don't need. And it gives you the chance to kind of keep people, if they're engaged, to keep them there before they get to drift off somewhere or look at their iPhone or whatever.
But I noticed there are no acoustic songs.
Yeah, first one like that.
How much hate mail did you get for that?
You know what's really funny is that you can't predict. So if I show up at a show with the band, there's always somebody who goes, "Oh, I wish you played more stuff alone."
Is that hard for you?
And if I showed up at a show alone, there's always somebody who goes, "Oh, I wish the band was here." So, I think, what was your question going to be? Is it hard for me to?
Just please,
You can't.
No.
So I mean, it's hard if you try to do it. Once you realize you can't do it, it's not hard anymore. Because you're. What I see it as actually is like it's been a long kind of battle to get to this point, but it seems to me like people are. I think it seems like people get that it's a conscious choice to have these two different manifestations of these songs. One that's how it is when I play like alone, and one that's how it is when we're doing this. And I think people have their preference, but I think we've gotten to a place where the people who are the really hardcore fans of it respect and get something out of both, and they almost kind of like going and not knowing what kind of show they're going to get. But I think I'm sure there's some people who wish the whole record was acoustic, and there's some people who wish that I never made another acoustic song again, and then there's some people who aren't ever going to like either. You know what I mean? You can't please everybody. You got to make it for yourself, and that doesn't mean make it inscrutable, make it like some opaque music that people can't get into. I don't mean that. I just mean you have to like it first, and then everybody else will or won't from there.